Good day, everyone. We are Group 2 from EE 2107, here to present Chapter 7, Statistical Intervals. So, for today's objectives, at the end of this presentation, it is expected that all of us will be able to first, construct confidence intervals using single sample and multiple sample. Second, construct a prediction for a future observation. Third, construct a tolerance interval for normal distribution. And fourth, explain the three types of interval estimate: confidence intervals, prediction intervals, and tolerance intervals.
So, for the introduction to statistical interval, parameter estimation is a common task for engineers because we work with samples drawn from a larger population or process. Statistical intervals shows an uncertainty in the data. A quality and validation practitioner's statistical toolbox must include statistical interval. So, statistical interval can shows the degree of confidence attached to a predicted value, show a margin of error in scientific pool, or appear as plus or minus bound on test data. So, this chapter will go over three series designed to aid in the validation and comprehension of the three most prevalent intervals: the tolerance interval, the prediction interval, and the confidence interval. So first, let's discuss a single sample estimating the mean. So sabi dito, confidence interval always specify a confidence level, usually 90%, 95%, or 99%, which is a measure of reliability of the procedure. Interval estimate for a population parameter is called a confidence interval. Information about the precision of estimation is conveyed by the length of the interval. Short intervals implies precise estimation. We cannot be certain that the interval contains the true unknown population parameter because we use only a sample from the full population to compute the point estimate and the interval. However, the confidence interval is constructed so that we have a high confidence that it does contain the unknown population parameter. So, next is the basic ideas of confidence interval are most easily understood by initially considering a simple situation. So, suppose that we have a normal population with unknown mean and known variance. This is somewhat an unrealistic scenario because typically both mean and variance are unknown. However, in subsequent section, we present confidence interval for more general solutions. So, next is confidence interval on a mean of a normal distribution and variance known.
So for our next one is the interval for a population mean variance known. If X is the sample mean or a random sample from a normal distribution with a known variance, confidence interval on population mean is given by the sample mean minus the z critical value, parentheses, standard deviation over the square root of our sample size. The less than equal to our population mean and our less than equal to our sample mean plus our z critical value, parentheses, standard deviation over our square root of our sample size. So basically, dito tinutukoy kung paano i-estimate yung totoong population mean. Kapag alam na natin yung population variance, since yung ating topic ngayon is variance knowns, tukoy na ang variance dito. Pero the sample mean can also vary. So instead of giving exact value, this is what we call the confidence interval. Also, the formula shows that the range or interval where the true population mean is likely to fall. Also, the higher the confidence, the wider the interval will be because we're certain that the true mean is inside that range. So for our one-sided confidence bounds on a mean of a normal distribution, to obtain one-sided confidence bounds for our population mean, setting either the bound L is equal to negative infinity or the upper bound U equals to positive infinity and replacing our Z critical value by Y. So kapag upper confidence ang hinahanap, our formula will be used is this sample mean plus Z critical value parenthesis our standard deviation over square root of our sample size. And for our lower confident bound, our formula is the sample size Z critical value parenthesis standard deviation over our square root of our sample size. So dito naman sa confident bounds, sa previous na slide, ginamit natin ang two-sided confidence. Dito naman is one-sided. So basically, ibig sabihin nito is yung values kung nasaan yung ating population mean ay nandito sa upper and lower. So next one. So we have the examples. Researchers at the Batangas State University, Alangilan are studying the average charging time of a new solar-powered charging station installed in the engineering building. From the previous data, the population deviation is known to be for a random sample of 25 charging sessions were recorded and their charging time was found to be 56 minutes. The researcher wants to find a 95% one-sided upper bound mean charging time of our population mean. So, ang una nating gagawin is basahin muna natin kung ano yung hinahanap. So basically, ang hinahanap dito sa atin is one-sided upper bound. So gagamitin natin yung formula na U is equal to sample mean plus our Z critical value, parenthesis, standard deviation over our square root of our sample size. So, ang una ko ditong ginagawa is kinukuha ko muna yung standard error, which is sinusolve ko tong standard deviation and yung sample size. Then after that, isasalpa ko na yung values ni sample mean at saka ni Z critical value. So 56 plus 1.645 times 0.8 is equals to 57.32. So this means that the researcher can be 95% confident that the true average charging time is less than or equal to 57.32 minutes. For our next example is the students from the electronics engineering program measured the signal strength of their campus Wi-Fi system in Alangilan. The sample of 15 readings gave an average of negative 45 decibel milliwatts with a standard deviation of 2 decibel milliwatts. They want to be a 90% confident that the true average signal strength is stronger or higher than a certain minimum. So dito naman, gusto nilang malaman ang pinakamababang halaga ng mean na maaari pa rin nilang asahan sa 90% confidence. So ang gagawin natin dito, since hanapin natin yung lower bound, we're gonna use the formula of our lower bound, which is the sample mean minus Z critical value, parenthesis, standard deviation over the square root of our sample size. So basically, i-input lang natin yung mga values ni sample mean, ni standard deviation, ni sample size, at ni Z critical value. Ayun na nga din yung paggagawa ko kanina. Hinahanap ko muna yung C standard error, which is nakuha natin ay 0.516. Then salpak sa calculator, ang makukuha natin ay negative 45.66 less than equal to our population mean. And for our last example, in one-sided confidence, a civil engineer is testing the compressive strength of a new batch of concrete mix. A random sample of 49 cylindrical test specimens is cured for 28 days and then tested. The results in megapascal are: sample mean strength is 32.2, sample standard deviation of 2.1, and the question is find an appropriate 95 confidence interval on the true mean compressive strength of population mean of the concrete batch. Ganun pa din ang kakunin natin, pero this time is hanapin natin ngayon yung pinakamababang lower confidence and yung pinakamataas na upper confidence. So basically, i-input lang natin yung dalawa na to, si 32.2, then sa pagkuha naman ng standard error, inuuna is yung standard deviation at si sample size na magkakaroon tayo ng 0.3. Then salpak ulit sa calculator, 35.2 minus 1.36, 0.3, and 35.2 plus 1.36, 0.3 is equals to our lower bound confidence interval is 34.612 and our upper is 35.788. For our large sample confidence interval on the mean naman, when n is large, the quantity is the sample mean minus population mean over the standard deviation over the square root of our sample size. So, since the sample size ay large, we can use the formula of the sample mean minus the parenthesis standard deviation over the square root of n less than equals to our population mean less than equal to our sample mean plus the z critical value parenthesis the standard deviation over square root of our n, our sample size. So yun, large sample confidence is a range of values calculated from a sample data that is likely to contain the true unknown population with a specified level of confidence. Ito naman yung example for our large sample. An administrator at the College of Engineering at the Alangilan State University is investigating the average weekly study hours of its first-year student. The goal is to estimate the true mean study for our entire population of BSU first-year engineering students. A random sample of 64 first-year engineering students were selected and their self-reported weekly study hours were recorded. The summary statistic for these samples are as follows. Our sample mean is 15.5 and our standard deviation is 4.8. Ang tanong, assuming the sample size is large enough for the central limit theorem to apply, find an approximate 90 confidence interval on the true mean weekly study hours for all BSU first-year engineering. Ito, since mas malaki yung value ng n natin, which is more than 30, we're gonna use the large sample confidence na formula. So, basically, ganun pa din ang hinahanap yung our standard error, which is yung s over square root of n. Yeah, then salpa, si 4.8 natin na standard deviation and sample size na si 64. Then magkakaroon tayo na standard error of 0.6. After that, we can distribute na si sample mean at si Z critical value. Since ang 90 confidence, ang magiging equivalent nito is si I 1.645. So, ayan, salpak lang. Then, ika-calculator natin, ito yung kakalabasan. Si 14.513 less than equal to our population mean less than equal 16.487. So this means we are 90% confident that the true mean lies between 14.513 and 16.487. Our next example is a quality control engineer at a semiconductor manufacturing plant is accessing a batch of newly produced 10 kilo ohms thin film resistor. The engineer wants to determine the true mean resistance of the entire production batch. A random sample of 81 resistors was selected from the batch, and their actual resistance were measured using a precision multimeter. The summary statistic for these samples are as follows. Sample mean is 9.985 kilo ohms and samples standard deviation of 0.090 kilo ohms. Assuming the sample size is large enough, find an approximate 99% confidence on the true mean resistance of the resistor in this batch. Ganun pa din, since alam na nating ang sample size ay mas malaki sa 30, so ganun pa din ang gagawin natin. Sa pagkukuha naman ng standard error, ganun pa din. Sa yung standard deviation natin na 0.090, at saka sample size natin na 81 is gagawin lang natin, isa-solve natin as sa calculator and makukuha natin ay 0.010. Then distribute yung mga given natin sa formula, which is magkakaroon tayo na 9.9524 less than equal to the population mean less than equal to 10.01076. So this means that the 99% confident that the true mean resistance of all resistor in the batch lies between 9.959 kilo ohms and 10.01076. For our last example is a civil engineer is testing the compressive strength of a new batch of concrete mix, a random sample of 49 cylindrical test specimens is cured for 28 days and then tested. The result in megapascals are sample mean 35 megapascal and our standard deviation of 2.1 megapascal, and find an approximate 95 confidence interval on the true mean compressive strength of the concrete batch. Yun, ganun pa din ang gagawin natin. Si 95 confidence interval, ang equivalent nun is 1.645. Then, as follow naman sa formula natin is kukunin natin si standard error, then distribute lang ulit yung mga given sa formula. So basically, input lang sa calculator si 35.2 minus 1.96. 1.96 pala yung 95 confidence interval, hindi 1.6. 1.96 pala, sorry. Then, times 0.3, then makukuha natin ay 34.612 less than equal to the population mean less than equal to 35.788. So, ang magiging sagot dito is 95% confident that the true mean compressive strength of the concrete batch lies between 34.61 megapascal and 35.79 megapascal. Ayun lang.
Confidence interval of the mean of the normal distribution variance unknown. If X bar is and S are the mean and standard deviation of a random sample from a normal distribution with unknown variance to a 100, 100 times 1 negative is unknown variance squared and a 100 times 1 minus alpha percentage confidence interval on MU is given by X bar minus T sub alpha over 2 n minus 1 times the sample standard deviation over the square root of n is less than or equal to mu, which is less than or equal to x bar plus t sub alpha over 2 and n minus 1 times the standard deviation over the square root of n, and where t sub alpha over 2 and n minus 1 is the upper 100 alpha over 2 percentage point of the distribution with n minus 1 degree of freedom. Next. For the first example, Fiona wants to estimate how long BSU engineering students study per day. She randomly surveyed 100 students and recorded the following study hours, which is 4, 5, 6, 4, 7, 6, 5, 8, 7, 5. Assuming that the study hours are normally distributed and the population variance is unknown, construct a 95% confidence interval for the mean number of study hours of BSU engineering students. Next. Now, for the solution, the given data will be, the data will be 4, 5, 6, 4, 7, 6, 5, 8, 7, 5. That will be the given data. And for the sample size is will be 10. And the confidence level will be 95% or alpha equals 0.05. So alpha over 2 is 0.025. And the degree of freedom will be 10 minus 1 is 9. And the critical value for it will be 2.262. Mm. And for the computation of the sample mean is will be we will just add all the data and divided it by the sample size. So the total data will be 57 over 110 will be 5.7. And to compute the sample variance, this will be minus 1.77 thousand and minus, wait lang, ay, wala pala to. And for the computation of sample variance and will be 16.1 thousand, and for it will be 16.1 thousand over 9, and the result will be 1.7889. And we will be square root it. And is square root natin na square root of 1.7889 will be 1.3370. And for the computation of standard error will be 1.3370 over square root of 10, and it will be 0.4227. And the computation of margin of error will be the critical value over the standard error, and the result will be 0.9560. And for the confidence interval will be the date, the sample mean and the margin of error, which is 5.7000 plus minus 0.9560. Therefore, it will be 4.74 and 6.66. So the final answer will be we are 95% confident that the true mean study hours of MU is between 4.74 and 6.66 hours. Next, for the next example, Ryan wants to know how much coffee students usually drink in a day to stay awake during late night reviews. He collected data from 8 of his classmates, measuring the number of cups of coffee they drank per day, which is 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 5. And assuming the coffee consumptions per day is normally distributed and the population variance is unknown, find the 90% confidence interval for the mean number of cups of coffee consumed by students per day. Next. So for the given, ang data natin ay 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 5. And the sample size will be n. N equals to 8. And ang confidence level natin ay 90 ay magiging alpha equals 0.10. And so alpha over 2 is 0.05. And ang degree of freedom natin ay 8 minus 1 will be 7. And the critical value will be 1.895. Hmm. And to compute the sample mean, ipla-plus lang natin lahat ng data, tas divided by the sample size, and it will be 2.75 or 2.7500. And for the computation of sample variance, the result will be 12.0625 over 7 equals, over 7, it will be 1.7232. At i-square root natin yon para maging 1.3127. Okay. And gagamitin natin yon sa standard error na 1.3127 over square root of 8 or sample size natin. And at ang sagot natin doon ay 0.4640. And gagamitin na natin yon para mahanap natin ang margin of error na critical value times standard error, and it will be 0.8785. So ang confidence interval natin of margin of error will be sample mean plus minus margin of error, and it will be 2.75 or 2.7500 plus minus 0.875 se- 8 se- as 0.8785, and it will be 1.87 and 3.63. So ang final answer natin dito ay 90% confident that the true mean cups of coffee MU is between 1.87 and 3.63 cups. Next sample. For the example 3, a family wants to estimate their average weekly grocery expenses to plan their monthly budget. For the past 12 weeks, they recorded their weekly expenses in pesos. Ang una ay 1,850, 1,800, 2,100, 2,000, 1,950, 2,050, 1,950, 1,980, 2020, 1,890, 2070, 1,930, and 2010. Assuming the data follows a normal distribution with unknown variance, determine a 99% confidence interval for the mean weekly grocery expenses for the family. Next. Ang given natin yan ay yung mga data na ginamit o mga nagastos per weekly. And the sample size will be 12 because 12 weeks ang sinukat nila para doon. And the confidence level will be 99% or alpha equals 0.01. So alpha over 2 is equals to 0.0025. And the degree of freedom will be 12 minus 1 is equals to 11. Therefore, the total value will be 3.106. So to compute the sample mean, ipag-add na lang ulit natin yung mga data natin, tapos ima-minus sa sample size. Therefore, it will be 23,750 over 12, and it will be 1,000 1,979.1667. So gagamitin natin yon para ma-compute ang sample variation natin, and that will be 65,074.4167 over 11, and it will be 5,915.8561. As is, tapos square root natin yon para maging 79.9168. And gagamitin natin yon para sa standard error na 76.9168 over square root of 12, and it will be 22.2075. And gagamitin din natin yung standard error para ma-compute ang margin of error natin na 3.106 times 22.2075, and it will be 69.0178. And the confidence level pa times plus and minus the margin of error. So 1,917 po, 1,979.1667 plus minus 69.0178 will be 1,910.15 and 2,048.18. So therefore, the final answer will be we are 99% confident that the crew mean weekly grocery expenses of MU is between 1,910.15 and 2,048.18 pesos. Yes. So for the T distribution, let x1 and x2 to xn be a random sample from a normal distribution with unknown mean and unknown variance in it squared. The random variable is really t equals t bar minus mu over standard deviation over square root of n, and and has a t distribution with n minus 1 degree of freedom. Next. Confidence interval of the variance and standard deviation of a normal distribution. Sample confidence interval on the population variance of standard deviation are needed when the population is modeled by a normal distribution. The test and interval described in these sections are applicable. The following result provides the basis for constructing these confidence intervals. X squared distribution. Let x1, x2 to xn be a random sample from a normal distribution with mean and variance, and let s squared be the sample variance of be the sample variance. The random variable will be x squared equals to n minus 1 and s squared over variance squared. And has a chi square x square distribution with a n minus 1 degree of freedom. Confidence interval on the variance. If S2 is the sample variance from a random sample of n, observation from a normal distribution with unknown variance squared, a 100 times 1 minus alpha percentage confidence interval on variance squared is n minus 1 times S squared over X squared alpha, ah, uh, X squared alpha over 2 N minus 1 and less than or equal to variance squared and which is less than or equal to N minus 1 S squared over X squared 1 minus alpha over 2 and N minus 1, where X squared alpha over 2 N minus 1 and X squared 1 over 1 minus alpha over 2 N minus 1 are the upper and lower 100 alpha over 2 percentage points of the chi-squared distribution with N minus 1 degree of freedom. Next. So for the so this will be the one-sided confidence bound on the variance. The 100 times 1 minus alpha percentage percent lower and upper confidence bounds on a variance squared are respectively N minus 1 S squared over X X squared and X squared A N minus 1 less than or equal to variance squared and variance squared equals or less than 1 S squared. X 1 minus alpha and 1. Next. So for the example 1, a researcher times how long in seconds it takes for 20 BSc students to complete a Rubik's Cube. The sample mean the sample mean time is 43.2 seconds. And the sample standard deviation is 6.1 seconds. Determine the 90% lower one-sided confidence interval for the true mean patient type. Next. For the solution, ang given natin ay 20 for the sample size, like may 20 students, and the sample mean will be 43.2 seconds. And the standard, as the simple standard deviation will be 6.1 seconds, and the confidence level will be 90%. So, ang magiging degree of freedom natin ay 20 minus 1, it will be 19. So, therefore, the critical value will be 1.328. So, ang gagamitin natin yun ay S as standard sample standard deviation over square root of n will be 6.1 over square root of 20. Ang magiging sagot doon ay 1.364. So, for the next formula is will be x bar equals minus t alpha n minus 1 so, times s, yun, ayun pa rin kanina. So, yun. So, therefore, ang sample mean, 43.2 times, ang nakuha natin kanina ay 1.328 times 1.364 will be 43.2 minus 1.8812 and the result will be 41.39. So therefore, ang final answer natin ay 41.3 41.39 seconds. Or with or kung gusto niyo na ano yung may sentence na with 90% confidence, we can say the true mean completion time is later than 41.39 seconds. Next. For the example 2, a BSU professor surveys 20 engineering students on their daily study time. The sample mean is 2.9 hours with a sample standard deviation of 0.7 hours. Construct a 95% lower one-sided confidence interval for the true mean. Next. So therefore, Hmm. So, tayo sa given natin na sample size ay 20. So, ang magiging mean natin ay yung mataas ay yung 2.9 hours and then the sample standard deviation will be the lower one will be 0.7 hours and the confidence level will be 95% and the degree of freedom ay 20 minus 1 is 19. So, ang magiging critical value natin dito ay 1.729. So, para dito sa una naman natin ay sample standard deviation over square root of n. And so, ang sagot natin ay 0.7 over s- square root of 20. Ang sagot natin doon ay 0.157. So, for the next formula ay yung sample mean. Sample mean ay 2.9 minus 1.729 times 0.157. So, ang maging ang next nun ay 2.9 minus 0.271. Therefore, it will be 2.63 and the final answer and that will be the final answer. Or thus we are 95% confident that the true mean study time is greater than 2.63 hours. Next. For the example number 3, Julius, a BSU nursing student, records the amount of sleep he gets over 40 nights. The sample mean is 6.4 hours, and the sample standard deviation is 1.1 hours. Construct a 95% lower one-sided confidence interval for Julius's true mean sleep duration. Next. So, ang maging sample size natin dito ay yung 14 dahil 40 nights ay ayun yung record natin. And the sample mean will be 6.4 hours, and the sample standard deviation will be 1.1 hours. The confidence level will be 95%, and the degree of freedom will be 14 minus 1 is 13. So, ang critical value natin ay 1.771. Tulad nga kanina ay yung sample standard deviation over square root of n, that will be 1.1 over square root of 14, and that will be 0.294. And for the next formula will be sample mean minus will be critical value times n minus 1. Sorry. So 6.4 minus 1771 times 0.294 will be 9.4 minus 0.521 and the final answer will be 5.88 hours. Or we can say with 95% confidence that Julius true mean sleep duration is greater than 5.88 hours. Next. And for the next presenter, may I call on Ginoel Francisco for this part?
So so now we are now in two sample estimating the difference between two means. So if we have two population with means population mean 1 and population mean 2 and variance population variance 1 and population variance 2, a point estimator of difference between population mean 1 and population mean 2 is given by statistic sample mean 1 minus sample mean 2. So therefore, to obtain the point estimate of population mean 1 minus population 2, we shall select two independent random samples, one from each population of size n1 and n2, and compute sample mean 1 minus sample mean 2. The difference of the samples means clearly we must consider sampling distribution sample mean 1 minus sample mean 2. Next. So, confidence interval for difference between two means variance is known. If sample mean 1 and sample mean 2 are means of independent random samples of size n1 and n2 from population with known variance 1 and population variance 2, respectively, a 100 1 times 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval on population mean 1 and population mean 2 is given by um, open parenthesis, sample mean 1 minus sample mean 2, close parenthesis, minus z critical, critical value times the square root of population variance 1 squared over n1 plus population mean 2 over n2, close parenthesis. So less than population mean 1 minus population mean 2, less than open parenthesis, sample mean 1 minus sample mean 2 plus z critical value times square root of population mean 1 over n1 plus population variance 2 over n2. So, mahaba siya pero hihimayin natin yung formula na yan. So, where z critical value is the z value leaving an area of alpha over 2 to the right. Next. So, example number 1. There are two brands of rechargeable batteries that were tested under identical conditions. Brand A was examined on 40 devices and had an average time of 11.8 hours, while brand B was tested on 50 devices and averaged 10.6 hours. In the past records, the population standard deviation are 1.8 and 2.0 hours. So, find a 95% confidence interval for the true difference in their means lifestyles. So, first, gawa muna tayo ng given para hindi tayo malito. So, ang sample mean 1 natin is 11.8 hours. Then, sample mean 2 natin is 10.6. So, next is yung variance 1 natin is 1.8 and variance number 2 natin is 2.0. So, yung N1 natin is yung 40 and N2 natin is 50. So, next. to compute that, so, yan, solutions. Una, compute natin yung mean difference ng brand. So, ito yung mean 1, sample mean 1 minus sample mean 2. So, yung 11.8 minus 10.6. So, magiging sagot nun is 1.2. So, next, compute the variance. So, yan yung yung square root of variance 1 over n1 plus variance 2 over n2. So magiging sagot nan is 0.401248053. For critical value for 95% is 1.96. So, sa confidence interval naman, pag lower siya, ang magiging formula niya is compute mean minus z critical value times the compute yung variance. So, yung 1.2 minus 1.96 times 0.401248053. So, ang magiging sagot natin dyan is 0.41355. Pag upper naman, ito yung compute mean plus z critical value times yung variance natin. So, yan yung 1.2 plus 1.96 times 0.401248053. So, ang magiging sagot natin dyan is 1.98644. So, interpretation natin na we are 95% confident that battery A lasts about 0.41355 to 1.98644 hours longer than battery B. So, next. So, example number 2. Some researchers want to compare the two methods of study for an entrance exam in college. 30 students used the Pomodoro method and they got an average score of 78.0 points. And 25 students used the active recall method and their mean scores is 74.2. So previous data indicate population standard deviation scores of 8 and 9. So find a 99% confidence interval for the true mean scores difference. So yung given natin is yung sample mean 1 is yung 78, yung mean 2 natin is 74.2. So variance 1 is 8, yung variance 2 is 9, then yung N1 is 30, and yung N2 natin is 25. So next. Yung solution natin, yung panggagayan din yung una nating example, compute muna natin yung means. Yung 78 minus 74.2, so magiging sagot natin is 3.8. Then next, yung compute variance, yan yung yung variance 1 over N1 plus variance 2 over N2. So magiging sagot natin diyan is 2.318045153. Then yung critical value natin for 99%, yan yung 2.5758. So sa confidential interval, yung lower, yan yung computed mean minus minus critical value times compute variance. So yung 3.8 minus 2.5758 times 2.318045153. So magiging sagot natin sa lower is negative 2.17082. So for upper naman, computed mean plus critical value times compute variance. So yan 3.8 plus 2.5758 times 2.318045153. So magiging sagot natin sa upper is 9.77082. So interpretation nan is with 99% confidence, the true advantage of the Pomodoro over active recall is between about negative 2.17082 and 9.77082 points. So next. Example number 3. A paramedical company is testing 2 capsule filling machines used to produce vitamin supplements. To ensure dosage accuracy, quality inspectors measured the amount of powder in randomly selected capsules. From machine A, a sample of 45 capsules had an average fill of 500.6 milligrams. From machine B, a sample of 45 capsules had an average fill of 497.9 milligrams. Based on the previous testing, the population standard deviation are known to be 3.5 milligrams and 4.0 milligrams. Construct a 90% confidence interval for the difference between the true mean fill weight of the two machines. So given natin is mean 1 is 500.6 plus mean 2 is 497.9, then variance 1 is 3.5 and variance 2 is 4.0, and then yung N1 natin is 45 and as well as N2 is 45. Next. So again, same process, compute mean difference, 500.6 minus 47.9 is equals to 2.7. Then compute the variance, magiging sagot natin is 0.7923242883. Then critical value natin for 90% is 1.645. Then confidence interval, yung lower niya, compute mean minus critical value times compute variance. So 2.7 minus 1.645 times 0.7923242883. So magiging sagot natin dyan is 1.39662. Then for upper naman, compute mean plus critical value times compute variance. Yan yung 2.7 plus 1.625 times 0.7923242883. So magiging sagot natin diyan is 4.00337. So interpretation natin with 90% confidence, machine 1 dispenses about 1.39662 to 4 0.00337 milligrams per bottle than machine 2. A. B. And next.
Thank you, Del Valle and Francisco. So now I'm discussing large sample confidence interval for a population proportion. So ginagamit ito para i-estimate ang totoong proportion or ating P ng population sa pamamagitan ng range ng possible values at hindi lang ang isang number. Karaniwan itong ginagamit sa engineering at quality control tulad ng pag-alam ng defect rate or success rate ng mga produkto or proseso. Mas malaki ang sample size or ang ating N, mas precise ang estimate. Pwedeng gamitin ang normal approximation kapag sapat ang laki ng sample. So, ibig sabihin, ang NP is greater than or equal to 5 at ang ating N times the quantity of 1 minus P is greater than or equal to 5. Ang ating P is yung true population proportion, yung unknown, and N yung sample size. So sa madaling salita, tinutulungan tayo ng method na to para malaman kung saang range makikita ang true proportion ng population batay sa data ng sample. Next slide please. So for this slide, we'll talk about the normal approximation for a binomial proportion. Kapag malaki na ang sample size, pwede nating palitan ang binomial distribution ng normal distribution para mas madali ang computation at ginagamit natin tong formula. So dito is yung Z ay yung test statistic, ang X naman ay yung number of successes or observed value. Ang N naman ay yung ating sample is yung true or claimed proportion at ang ating p-hat naman ay ang sample proportion. So we can calculate yung p-hat na X over N. And then yung ating square root ng NP times the quantity of 1 minus P represents the standard deviation ng binomial distribution. So ginagamit natin to kapag ang both NP at N times the quantity of 1 minus P are at least 5. Kasi doon nagiging close sa normal curve ang binomial. In short, yung method na to allows us to use normal distribution to approximate binomial probabilities kapag large sample na. So next slide. For this example, a factory claims that only 5% of its products are defective. A quality control inspector takes a sample of 200 products and finds that 15 are defective. Using a 5% significance level, we can reject the factory's claim. So, may factory na nag-claim daw na 5% of its products are defective. So, nag-test sila ng 200 products, 15 daw nakita nila may defect. So, gamit ang formula, compute natin. So, dito, ang given natin is P is equals to 0.05. Ang N naman natin ay 200. Then, ang X is 15 defective products. So, dito, para makuha natin yung p-hat, ang formula natin is X over X over N. So, 15 over 200. So, makukuha natin yung 0.075 na p-hat. So, compute naman natin ang Z statistic natin. So, Z is equals to X minus NP all over the square root ng NP times the quantity of 1 minus P. So, lang natin, substitute lang natin lahat ng value. So, makukuha natin dito is Z is equals to 1.62. So, for our critical value ng A is equals to 0.05. Ang ating Z sub 0.025, kapag tingnan natin siya sa Z score, it equals to 1.96. So, kapag kinompare natin yung z-score na 1.645 sa 5% level of significance, makikita natin na 1.62 is less than 1.645. So, we fail to reject the null hypothesis or the claim. So, ibig sabihin, walang enough na evidence para sabihing lagpas 5% ang defect rate, kaya valid pa rin ang claim ng factory. So, ginamit natin dito ang normal approximation para mabilis na ma-check kung pasok sa limit ang defect proportion rather. Next slide. So, ang approximately confidence interval on a binomial proportion ay ginagamit para malaman kung gaano tayo ka-confident na ang sample proportion natin ay malapit sa totoong population proportion or ating P. So, ginagamit natin ang formula na P hat plus or minus Z sub alpha over 2 times the square root of P hat times the quantity of 1 minus P hat over N. So dito ang P hat natin ay yung sample proportion. Ang N dito yung sample size at ang Z sub 0 over 2 naman ay yung Z value mula sa standard normal distribution na depende sa confidence level natin. Ang alpha naman ay ang significance level o probability na kapag nagkamali yung sa estimate. At ang square root naman, so para tinatawag ng standard error na nagpapakita ng variability ng sample proportion. Sa pamamagitan ng confidence interval, dito natin malalaman kung ang range kung saan nandoon ang totoong proportion ng population. Kaya nasusukat natin kung gaano kalapit at ka-reliable ang resulta ng ating sample data. So next slide. Sa example na to is in a survey of 400 students, 280 said they prefer online learning. Construct a 95% confidence interval for the true proportion of students who prefer online learning. So sa example na to, nag-survey daw ng 400 students at 280 ang nagsabing mas gusto nila ang online learning. So gagamit tayo ng 95% na confidence level para ma-estimate ang totoong proportion ng mga estudyanteng mas gusto ang online learning. So kuhanin natin ang sample proportion na P hat. So 280 over 400. So X over N. So nakuha natin yung 0.70. Then ang critical value para sa 95% confidence ay Z sub 0.025. So kapag tinignan na siya sa Z-score, it equals to 1.96. So gamit ang formula na E equals to C sub alpha over 2 times the square root of P hat times the quantity of 1 minus P hat all over N, makukuha natin ang margin of error na lumalabas na 0.045 kapag sinubstitute natin yung lahat ng value. Then gagamitin natin yung formula na P hat plus or minus E. Yun yung 0.70 plus minus 0.045 na confidence interval. So, makuha natin na 95% ang confidence interval mula sa 0.655 hanggang 0.745. So, ibig sabihin nito, 95% confident tayo ang totoong proportion ng mga estudyanteng mas gusto ang online learning ay nasa pagitan ng 65.5% at 74.5% ng kabuuang population. Next slide, please. So in this slide, pinapakita kung paano natin malalaman kung ilang sample ang kailangan para sa binomial proportion. Dito tayo sa sample size for specified error in a binomial proportion. Ito yung para makuha natin yung estimate na may tamang accuracy at confidence level. So ang formula ginamit dito is N equals to quantity of C sub alpha over 2 divided by E squared. So times P hat times the quantity of 1 minus P hat. So ginagamit natin yung formula para sure na sapat ang sample size para reliable at accurate yung resulta ng pag-estimate ng population proportion. So next slide please. Sa sample na to, a researcher wants to estimate the proportion of students who prefer blended learning with 90% confidence and a margin of error of 4%. If the estimated proportion is 60%, how many students should the researcher survey? So gusto ng researcher na malaman ang proportion ng mga estudyanteng mas gusto ang blended learning gamit ang 90% confidence level at may margin of error na 4%. So para dito, ginagamit natin ang formula na n equals the quantity of c sub alpha over 2 squared times p hat times the quantity of 1 minus p hat all over e squared. Ang n natin ay tumutukoy sa sample size o sa dami ng respondents. Ang z-value base, ito yung nakabase sa confidence level. So dito ay 1.645 ang confidence level ng C sub 0.05 kapag tinignan mo siya sa C score. So ang pihat naman natin dito ay estimated proportion ng mga estudyanteng pipili ng blended learning na may 0.60 habang ang 1 minus p hat naman ay 0.40. So, ito yung nagre-represent sa mga hindi pipili. Ang E naman ay ang margin of error. So, dito ay 0.04. Kapag sinubstitute natin ang mga values, it gives us 406. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan ng 406 respondents para makuha ang accurate na resulta sa 90% confidence level at plus or minus 4% ng margin of error. Next slide, please. So, approximate one-sided confidence bounds and a binomial proportion. So, dito ay ginagamit para makuha ang lower or upper confidence level limit ng proportion sa isang binomial distribution. So, ito ay ginagamit kapag gusto nating malaman kung anong proportion ng isang bagay. Halimbawa, success rate or defect rate. Nasa loob lang. Kunyari, halimbawa, success rate or defect rate. Ito yung, so sa formula ng p hat ay example ng proportion, ng sample proportion. Ang z sub a naman ay ang z-score na tumutukoy sa desired confidence level. At ang n naman ay ang sample size nito. So, tulad ng sinabi ko kanina. Ang L naman ay ang lower bound. Ito yung pinakababang limit ng possible na mangyari. Kapag habang ayun naman ay ang upper bound, ito yung pinakamataas na limit. Halimbawa is kung gusto mong matiyak na success rate ng isang proseso ay hindi bababa ng 70%. So gagamitin mo yung lower bound formula upang makuha ang pinakamababang percentage na kinikilala bilang acceptable. So next slide please. So dito ay a company is testing a new safety helmet out of 150 helmets. 142 daw ang nakapasa sa safety test. Estimate the lower one-sided 95% confidence bound for the true proportion of helmets that meet the safety standard. So nag-test daw na 150, 142 ang pumasa. So ang sample proportion natin ay 0.9467. Naging 94.67 na siya. Ito yung p-hat natin, yung x over n, 142 over 150. At gamit ang one-sided lower bound formula, kinuha natin ang minimum possible proportion sa 95% ng confidence level. So lumalabas na 91.66 yung lower bound. So paano nangyari yon? Ang C sub A natin, kapag tingin natin siya sa C score is 1.645. So formula ng lower bound is L is equals to P hat minus Z sub A, C sub alpha is a square root of p hat times the quantity of 1 minus p hat all over n. So substitute lang natin yung lahat ng formula, then makuha na natin yung 0.9166 or 91.66%. So, ang lower bound ay ginagamit ko kapag gusto nating patunayan na ang success rate ay hindi mas mababa sa isang limit. So, next slide. In this example, in a production line, out of 300 light bulbs, 18 were defective. Estimate the upper one-sided 95% confidence bound for the true proportion of defective bulbs. So, out of 300 light bulbs, 18 daw ang sira. So, ang defect proportion ay 0.06 o 6%. Dun sa p hat is equals to x over n, 18 divided by 300. Then, ang confidence level natin ay 95%, 0.05. So, kapag tingnan mo na sa z-score is 1.645. So, gamit ang one-sided upper bound, kinuha natin kung hanggang saang maaaring umabot ang totoong defect rate sa 95% confidence. So, dito lumalabas na 8.25% ang totoong defect rate ng mga bulbs. So, ginagamit ang upper bound kapag gusto nating masiguro na ang error or defect rate ay hindi lumalagpas sa limit. So, ganun lang din yung pag-compute. Upper bound is equals to p hat plus z sub alpha square root of p hat times the quantity of 1 minus p hat all over n. So, pinagkaiba lang ng lower at saka upper is, kapag sa lower, minus ang ginagamit, p hat minus z sub alpha. Kapag naman upper is p hat plus c sub alpha. And next is si Ian Guse.
Sa prediction interval for future observation, a prediction interval provides a range of value within which we expect a single future observation to fall. Unlike po ng confidence interval na nakapokus po sa estimating ng population parameter, ang prediction interval naman po ay nakapokus sa pag-predict ng new individual outcome. For the prediction interval of future observation, x sub 0, if the mean is unknown but the variance is known, it is computed using this formula. Sample mean minus z value times standard deviation times square root of 1 plus 1 over n na sample size natin. Ganun po din sa upper value po natin, where j alpha over 2 is the z value leaving an area of a alpha over 2 to the right. Next slide, please. When the mean is known and variance is unknown, we use the sample standard deviation S and replace the z value with t value. Ganun lang po din, i-replace lang po natin yung z value ng t value, where t a alphas over 2 is the t value with v minus n minus 1 degrees of freedom, leaving an area of alpha over 2 to the right. Next slide, please. Ito naman po ang t-table para lang po mabilis makuha yung t-value. Next slide, please. Sa example 1 po natin, laboratory tested the concentration of a chemical in 12 water samples. The sample mean concentration is 1.25 mg per liter and the sample standard deviation is 5 mg per liter. assuming the measurement are approximately normal, construct a 95% prediction interval for the concentration in the next 13th sample. So ito pong solution natin na ang sample mean po natin is 1.25 milligram per meter, tapos ang sample size po natin is 12, tapos ang standard deviation po naman natin is 5 milligram per liter. Tapos ang t-value po natin, pag nakita po natin doon sa table, ito po ay 2.201. So i-plug in lang po natin yung ating value sa formula natin. 125 plus minus 2.201 times 5 square root of 1 plus 1 over 12. Pagka na-compute po natin yan, lalabas na po ang 113.54 at saka po ang 136.45 milligram per liter. So the scientists are 95 confident that the correct concentration measured in the next water sample will fall between 113.54 milligram per liter and 136.45 milligram per liter. Next slide, please. Sa sample 2 po natin, a company recorded the waiting time of customer at a service counter. A sample of 40 customers shows an average waiting time of 8.5 minutes, and past data shows that the population standard deviation is 2.4 minutes. Construct a 90% prediction intervals for the waiting time of the next customer. So, ganun lang po din, kagaya po nung isa. Ang gamit lang po natin dito ngayon is yung Z value po. So, isasubstitute lang po ulit natin yon. At ang pagka na-compute na po natin yan, lalabas lang po ulit ang sagot. The company is 9. Yun lang po. Next slide please. Sa example 3 naman po, a engineer recorded the torque of 18 electric motors. The sample mean torque is 57.2 Newton with the sample standard deviation of 3.5 Newton. Assume normality, construct 99% prediction interval for torque of the next motor. Yun lang po din ulit. Pagka the engineer is 99% confident that the torque of the next electric motor will be between 46.74 Newton and 67.61 Newton. Yun po. Next slide po.
So, andito naman tayo sa sunod ng klase na statistical interval, which is tolerance interval. So, ang sabi dito, a tolerance interval is a range that is expected to contain a specific proportion of a population with a certain level of confidence. So, madalas na kino-compare ang tolerance interval sa confidence interval. Kung sa confidence interval, ang kinukuha niya is yung true mean kung nasan siya dun sa range. Ang tolerance interval naman, iniisa-isa niya yung individual data points para malaman kung nasan sila dun sa ating dataset. So, in layman's term, it tells us where most of the individual data points are likely to fall. So, a tolerance interval for capturing at least y% of the values in a normal distribution with confidence level 100 times 1 minus alpha% is mean minus ks plus or minus mean minus ks or mean plus ks or simply mean plus minus ks. So kung titingnan natin yung formula ng tolerance interval, hindi siya kasing haba nung mga previous formula natin. Kasi yung k natin, meron tayong gagamiting table mamaya na predetermined na yung value niya. Pero kung isosolve pa natin yung k, mahaba-haba siyang formula. So, where k is the tolerance interval factor given by y equals 95% and 99%, and 90%, 95%, and 99% confidence. There are two kinds of interval tolerance interval factor, two-sided and one-sided. Two-sided is used when getting both the upper and lower limit, and one-sided is used when getting only the upper or lower limit. So yun nga, dalawa rin yung ah, klase ng tolerance interval natin, yung two-sided and one-sided. Two-sided, pag hinahanap natin yung maximum and minimum value. Pag one-sided naman, hinahanap na natin yung maximum pati minimum lang. Isa lang ang hinahanap natin. So, tolerance interval is sensitive to normality assumptions. So, next slide. So, yan yung table na sinasabi ko kanina na for the value of k. So, mahanap, kung hindi medyo malabo, mahanap naman to dun sa module natin, nasa page 131. So, magkaiba ang value ng k depending sa kung anong hinahanap natin, kung two-sided ba siya or one-sided. So, yun nga, yung y equals 0.05 pati 0.01 na yan, yan yung kung gaano tayo ka-sure, yan yung ginagamit natin. Tapos yung nasa ilalim nun na 0.90, 0.95 at 0.99, yun yung ginagamit natin yun pag yun yung tawag dito, kung gaano karami nung bagay na mini-measure natin, yung nandun sa specific na lugar na yun. So, kunwari pag sinabi nating 95% sure that 90% of a certain thing is ganyan-ganyan, ang gagamitin natin dun tayo sa y equals 0.05, then kung 95% sure tayo na 90% ng bagay na yun, dun tayo sa 0.90. Then makikita nyo sa gilid merong value of yung n, ma-given naman yan, andun yung ila-line up lang natin kung saan siya. Then makukuha na natin yung value ng k. Next slide. So for our first example of tolerance interval, example 1, an engineer in a metal manufacturing plant decided to measure the length of 10 metal rods in millimeters from the production line. The mean of the sample taken is 100 millimeters with a standard deviation of 3 millimeters. Then kung kukuha na natin yung k niyan, given yung ano natin, makukuha natin 2.839. The engineer wants to find the two-sided tolerance interval where he can be 95% sure that 90% of the metal rods are a certain length. So yun nga, 95% sure, then 90%. Makikita natin yun doon. Pag niline up natin sa n equals 10, makukuha natin 2.839. So ang given natin, ang mean is 100 millimeters, then sample size is 10. Standard deviation is 3 millimeters, and yung k natin 2.839. Then apply lang natin yung formula natin, which is mean plus minus ks. So, 100 plus minus 2.39 times 3. So, makukuha natin value is 91.48 millimeters and 108.52 millimeters. So, ang answer natin is the engineer is 95% sure that 90% of the metal rods are between 91.48 millimeters and 108.52 millimeters in length. So, next example. So, example number 2, a teacher in elementary took the test scores of 25 students in a class. The mean score of the students was 86 with a standard deviation of 7. What would be the score if the teacher wants to be 99% sure that 95% of the student exceed a certain score? So, ang hinahanap natin dito is yung lower limit kasi exceed. So, dapat mas mataas yung score kaysa dun sa makukuha nating makukuha nating value. So, dapat 99% sure siya na 95% ng mga students ay mas mataas dun sa value na makukuha natin. So, ang mean natin is 86, then sample size natin is 25, then for our standard deviation, 7. So, pag niline up natin yung 99% sure na 95%, makukuha natin 2.633. So, since lower limit nga kinukuha natin, ang gagamitin nating sign is minus. So, 86 minus 2.633 times 7 equals 67.569. So, since wala namang ganyang klaseng score, ang i-round up na natin to 68. So, ang answer is, the teacher is 99% sure that 95% of the student got a score of at least 68. Okay, next. So, number 3, a professional baseball pitcher decided to test his pitching speed. He threw the ball 5 times and the average speed of the balls was 89.865 miles per hour with a standard deviation of 1.35 miles per hour. What would be the speed of the ball if the player wants to be 99% sure that 99% of the balls thrown does not exceed a specific speed? So, yun nga, ang mean natin is 89.865. Then, ang sample size natin is 5. Then, ang standard deviation is 1.35. Then, pag niline up natin yung 99%, sure that 99% ay makukuha natin ay 8.939. Since ang hinahanap natin is upper limit, since ayaw natin mag-exceed dun sa speed na yun, ang solution natin is 89.865 plus 8.939 times 1.35 is equal to 112.99323 miles per hour. So the best baseball player is 99% sure that 99% of his pitches does not exceed 112.99 323 miles per hour. So it is worth noting ano na dun sa example na ginamit na ko ngayon is simplified na siya. So given na yung average and given na rin yung standard deviation. Pero baka maka-encounter tayo ng problems na ang given lang is yung dataset pati yung sample size. Tapos hahanapin pa natin yung K, yung mean pati yung standard deviation. So pag gano'n naman, kailangan na natin hanapin standard deviation pati mean pati yung K, pero same process na rin naman ang mangyayari. Sinorten lang natin. So next slide. So yun lang for today. Yun lang yung madidiscuss namin sa chapter 7 which is statistical interval. Salamat sa pakikinig. Thank you and have a great day everyone.